singles action is underway, and in this one, I wouldn't attempt to predict what's going to happen. I'd just be ready for anything. Sometimes that's all you can do.
And there are few things more unforgiving than the cold steel of a cage match. Harsh impact. What a stomp. Good grief. Just punched him right in the mouth. Oh, nasty impact. Nailed it. Unceremoniously deposited down.
He's on the defensive here. He's still got plenty of gas left in his tank, though.
Hey, it's not an easy atmosphere to excel in. Not only is he in the ring with WWE's toughest, but he's surrounded by an incredibly unforgiving steel cage. This might be it. Oh, my. We talk about how important stipulations are in a steel cage match. If superstars sign a contract where the only way to win is escape the cage and have both your feet touch the floor, the competitors must have a plan. Especially since you have to be comfortable trying to escape through the cage door as you do climbing over the top of the cage and vice versa.
Corey, you touched on something moments ago that's so important for the combatants in a steel cage match to remember. A superstar must be able to think offensively to figure out how they're going to escape the cage. They must think defensively at the same time so they can prevent their opponent from getting out of the cage first and winning the match.
Well, a superstar must become comfortable with escaping the cage by both exiting the cage door and by climbing over the top of the cage. They must also be aware of their attributes and what's best for them. Let's just say if you're a giant like The Big Show, The Undertaker, Kane, or even Braun Strowman, it's preferred to exit through the cage door. The WWE Universe has seen the evolution of the steel cage in the enclosure known today as Hell in a Cell. The first time an enclosed cage was seen was in October of 1983 in the last Battle of Atlanta. The enclosed cage was seen a few years later in the War Games match from the NWA. There were even cages stacked on top of each other, like WCW's Tower of Doom.
Byron, we talk about the progression of steel cage matches and the type of structures that have been spawned from them. I need to point out that some cages have been electrified. One was made from bamboo in the form of a Punjabi prison match. And of course, the Elimination Chamber with glass pods and steel doors.
And today we have the Asylum match, where weapons are on top of the cage. Just goes to show you that times may change, but the objective to destroy an opponent remains the same. There's still no better way to settle a score than to do battle with your adversary inside a steel cage. Oh! Beautiful technique.
Each of these competitors is looking for the slightest hint of weakness in the other.
Oh boy, he is rolling. Oh boy, he is rolling.
According to historians, the twisted metal that we see as part of steel cages today dates back 80 years. To settle a dispute between competitors Jack Bloomfield and Count Pietro Rossi, the two met inside a ring surrounded by chicken wire. At first, these types of matches were referred to as fence matches.
Corey, you gave us an impressive history of the origins of the steel cage match. I'd like to point out to our viewers that from the 1960s to the mid-1980s, chain link fences were used to enclose the ring for WWE steel cage matches. A superstar could win by pinfall, submission, or by exiting the cage through the cage door or climbing over the top of the cage.
We should also point out, Michael, that the way to win a steel cage match can vary by match depending on what was agreed to before contracts to compete in the match were signed. Talking about history, at WrestleMania 2, WWE unveiled the redesigned steel cage with solid steel blue bars before returning to chain link mesh in the late 1990s.
There's a certain feeling that comes over the combatants in a steel cage match.
This singles match has come to an end. Wow.
That match deserves another look, folks.
What a ferocious conclusion to this steel cage match.
If you didn't believe this guy before, there's no reason not to now. Not after that performance.
It'll be interesting to see the fallout following this big singles win here tonight.